I think this is a nice segue for a minute, if we could, into like that job description for research administrators, because what I love about those job descriptions, right, is you see a one sentence. Okay, are you ready? The one sentence: supports investigators in pre-award. That one sentence is like 70% of your job, and it is so much work, and there's so many micro components of that. Like, that one sentence makes it sound like it's a throwaway, you know, like, oh yeah, you're going to assist with pre-award. It's like, that's not really how it works. You know, pre-award is this huge ship, right? And it's so deadline driven, and we're constantly juggling a million different things. I explained this to somebody in class last night. I said, it's kind of like juggling with fireballs, because it's just, you never know what's going to drop. You're constantly having to look everywhere to see where all of your grants are, where are all your applications, who are the PIs, which one's a clinical trial, which one's a human subjects research but not a clinical trial, which one's animals, right? Who has salary, who doesn't have salary, who's key, who's not key. I mean, there's so many questions, and that's just for one grant. And then you multiply it over however many you're doing in your portfolio. So I think it's really interesting that when people look at a job description for an RA, they see these like one-liners that make it seem like it's, you know, it's easy, but these are huge tasks that take weeks and weeks of work. And I think that RAs are superheroes. I am a superhero.
I think,
you know, and Rashonda's a sorceress. We're getting some really great names here right now.
I know.
listen, I'm going to say we are definitely superheroes. Depending on the day, you can see the cape a little bit because it might be tattered and torn some days. But it also, to your point, you said like juggling. You might be juggling knives or chainsaws.
Oh my God, that is the best ever.
So true. Yes, you're right.
So it just really depends. But I want to go into what you mentioned about the job description. I always think about when I got into research administration, how I applied for the wrong job and landed here. Because I thought the job that I applied for was totally something different because of the description. And so I think over the years, as I watched how it has evolved, and I will give myself a little bit of dating and say that was in 1998, but it's still very similar. I think they've actually made it more ambiguous. They put one line so that they can add, and they say that, you know, when those other duties as assigned keep creeping up and creeping up, you know, it says, well, we did say this, and that's actually included in that. And that's included. So it really depends. But I will say, one of the things that I'm actually proud to say is with research administration, it's one of those things, you either love it or you hate it, right? And so when you get into it, you're either going to be like, what did I just get myself into? Or you're going to be like, kind of like this little life of mine here.
And you know, I'm teaching a pipeline class, and one of the things I said to my students is, what's great about this job that I rarely see in other professions, and maybe it's lack of exposure, but because we're so diversified in terms of the kinds of tasks we're doing every day, portfolio, our professional portfolio is so broad, and we have so many skills that this job has so much upward mobility in terms of like how you can take the skills you learn as an RA and transfer them and do something similar but different. Gil Tran was talking about this yesterday, and he called it same but different.